What's going on, guys? My name's Cody and welcome to OffGrid Overhaul. My wife Summer and I are building a shipping container house way out in the middle of the woods, completely off-grid. I'm a mechanic by trade and I've always loved tinkering in the garage, restoring old stuff, and finding budget-friendly ways to make things like new again. And that's exactly what this channel is going to be. Budget builds, budget restorations, and DIY projects anyone can tackle. If you've been around for a while, you already know we love the water, lakes, rivers, creeks, you name it. I'm all about skiing and boating, and before we moved, we actually had a couple of jet skis. We sold them whenever we made the move, but we've been itching to get back into them. So we found a jet ski that we wanted in Illinois, this one behind me. We drove up to get it, and the guy actually ended up convincing us to buy another one and a trailer that he had with it. And the deal was just too good to pass up. We got both jet skis and the trailer for $475, so about $160 each. The skis needed some work, which you'll see in some future videos, but today we're focusing on this trailer. It was old, rusty, and beat up, but I brought it back to life for under 80 bucks. That's the kind of stuff you can expect here. Real world, budget-friendly transformations that you can actually do yourself. So stick around, let me know in the comments what projects you want to see, and get ready, because this $80 trailer transformation starts right now. So as you can tell, we're going to be working on the jet ski trailer today. We just picked up those two jet skis. The trailer definitely needs some work. Here, let me just show you. The paint job has definitely seen better days. It does have a new trailer jack wheel, and it looks like the winch setup is fairly new, but the trailer itself is still a little run down. All the lights work, which is a good sign, and it's got new wheels and new tires on it. So I really can't complain. It really just needs a new paint job and then some new brackets for the bunks. I'm not really sure what's going on with these, but it looks like it used to be vertical bunks, and then they actually just slowly bent them to the side to try to make the boat sit on the flat part of the 2x4, but obviously it wasn't meant for that, so the bracket was just digging into the boat. We're going to cut those off. I got some new brackets to put on there, and then we also need to fix the fenders because the welds broke on them, so let's get to it. First thing I did was throw it on jack stands, pull off the tires, and went to work on the fenders. They were cracked and rusty, so I had to grind them clean before I could weld anything. I'm definitely not a professional welder, but I can lay down a bead that'll get the job done. These fenders had some cracks running through them, and if you leave that kind of thing, it's only going to get worse. Last thing you want is to be flying down the highway and have a fender let go on you. That's a bad day waiting to happen. So I'm just taking my time, filling everything in, making sure it's solid. It's not going to win any awards for looks, but it'll hold strong and keep me from having to mess with it again later. I got the welding on the fenders done, so they're all nice and secured now. And then I also started setting up these new brackets for the bunks that the boat's going to sit on, or the jet ski's going to sit on. I got one of them on there. It's not tight yet, but it's all bolted on and ready to go. So I just got to do the other three, and then we're going to take those brackets off and take some stuff on the front off and get ready for paint. I picked up these pontoon trailer bunk brackets for 12 bucks on Amazon, which is a steal. First thing I did was figure out exactly where I wanted them to sit, so I marked it out, then lined the bracket up in place. Then I used a punch to make a little divot in the metal that just keeps the drill bit from wandering whenever you start drilling. If you skip that step, you're chasing the bit all over the place. After that, I hit the spot with a little oil. You always want to keep things lubricated when you're drilling metal, otherwise you're just going to burn up your bit and make your life a whole lot harder. Once the holes were in, I grabbed a wire wheel and cleaned up around them just to knock off any burrs or sharp edges. Definitely don't want a piece of metal hanging there slicing my hand open later. After everything was cleaned up, it was ready to get bolted together. After I swapped out the other three brackets, I went ahead and pulled all the hardware off the trailer so I could get it prepped for the next step. Next thing we're going to do is start taking all this stuff off, take the front jack off and get all the lights taken off, and then we're going to take a wire wheel to it, get all the loose paint off, and then get it primered. Getting rid of rust and loose paint isn't just about making it look nice. If you skip it, the new paint won't stick and you'll be right back redoing it in a couple months. Once the surface is clean, I'm using Rust-Oleum enamel for the primer and paint. It's tough, it bonds great to metal, and it's built to handle water and weather, which is exactly what the trailer is going to be dealing with. What I'm going to do is knock off these bearing caps. You can see that chocolate milkiness in there, and we're going to replace it with these bearing protectors. Swapping out bearing protectors is a quick and easy job, but it can make your bearings last a whole lot longer. I picked these up for 15 bucks at Rural King, but you can grab them on Amazon too. All you do is knock it into place, pump it full of grease, and then the spring inside keeps pressure on it, forcing grease into the bearings and keeping the water out. Then slap the cover on and you're done. Cheap, easy, and it'll save you from way bigger problems down the road. We got everything stripped off it, we got the fenders fixed, we got it painted, and we got bearing protectors installed. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a clear coat on it really quick, and then I think that's about it for tonight, unless I'm lucky enough for it to be dry enough to be able to start putting the lights and stuff back on. Maybe, but I'm starting to run out of sunlight, so the humidity's starting to go up. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get a clear coat on real quick, and then we'll see what happens. All right, it's a new day. Paint's dry. I'm gonna start getting the lights put on, get the trailer jack put back on, and get the winch put back on. I couldn't think of what it was called. All right, let's do it. I went ahead and swapped out the two lights on the back of the trailer. They still worked, but one had a big hole in it, so the first time we put the jet ski in the water, it would have just filled right up. I grabbed both of them at Rural King. One was $7 and the other was $5, but you can get the same thing on Amazon. After that, I started putting the bunk brackets back on. I didn't measure before I took them off, so I looked up the width of the jet ski and double checked with the tape measure. Both said 24 inches apart for the bunks, so I measured the total width of the trailer, subtracted 24, and that told me that each bracket needed to sit 10.5 inches from the edge. And that brings us to the final step, replacing the wood and carpet on the bunks. I grabbed the carpet off Amazon for about 15 bucks, and I already had some extra treated 2x4s laying around, so I cut those down to 6 feet, wrapped them in new carpet, and called it good. I went with treated wood, hoping it'll last a lot longer than untreated wood. The old bunks were completely rotted out. They actually fell apart on the way home, so this wasn't just for looks, it was something that had to be done. I lined up the ends of the bunks with the back of the trailer, then locked them down with lag bolts to the brackets. After that, it was finally time to throw the tires back on and get this thing off jack stands. Part one of our jet ski project is just about finished. I'm almost done with the trailer. I'm sure there's a couple things you've noticed, like this is still loose. I haven't wired up the lights yet, and then we're missing the winch on the front. There is a method to my madness. So now that I'm this far, I want to get the jet ski on the trailer. That way I can get these in the right position before I lock them down. Once they're locked down, I can't really change it. So we'll let the jet ski decide where it wants them to sit at, and then we'll screw them down. The lights, the wires are a little weird with the colors. I don't know if maybe they just use different wiring or different color wires last time that they did the lights on this trailer, but they're not correct. So I want to get it hooked up to the truck. That way I can switch the wires around and make sure they're hooked up the correct way before I put shrink wrap on them and they're permanent. And then last thing, the winch, same thing. I want to have the jet ski on it and get it in the position that I want. And then we'll put the winch on, get it positioned where it needs to be, and then bolt it down. All right, now that we got the jet ski on the trailer in position where it's gonna sit, I'm gonna go ahead and lock down these brackets for the bunks. That way they stay in this position whenever we launch it in the water. All right, now the last thing we're gonna do is lock this winch down into place. I measured it for the longer jet ski, so that way that will definitely fit on the trailer, and then this one will just have to sit a little farther forward than it typically would. And yeah, there should probably be a washer on there, but I'm not the one that installed this. So I didn't lose it, it just wasn't there. All right, so in total, the trailer was 160 bucks. We spent 77 on parts, so we're all in for $237. And typically you can't even find a crappy used one on Marketplace for less than 500 bucks. So I'd say we got a pretty good deal on this one. Not bad for the first project on OffGrid overhaul. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you'd like to see in the future, and if you have any budget build ideas you want me to try and tackle. Make sure you like the video, comment, and subscribe because we got a lot more content coming, including a full restoration on this jet ski. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.